Once upon a time, in a kingdom blessed with sunshine and bountiful harvests, there lived a king known for his wisdom and fairness. He ruled with a kind heart, always seeking what was best for his people. But the king harbored a secret worry. As he grew older, he watched his strength fade and feared that he might not be able to protect his kingdom. This fear gnawed at him, making him question his ability to lead. The king confided his worries to his wise old advisor. "Oh, mentor," he said, "I feel like my strength is slipping away. How can I ensure the safety of my people if I cannot protect them myself?" The advisor listened patiently and then said, "Your Majesty, true strength does not always come from our physical power. Sometimes it comes from the choices we make." The king looked puzzled, wondering what his advisor meant. "Tomorrow, Your Majesty," the advisor continued, "I want you to visit the neighboring kingdom and request a meeting with their king. During the meeting, I want you to ask him a simple question." The king was curious, but also a bit apprehensive. "What question, mentor?" he asked. The advisor replied, "You must ask him, if you had the chance to be as strong as you are now for the rest of your life, would you choose to be the strongest man in the world?" The king nodded, though he couldn't fathom why his advisor suggested such a peculiar question. The following day, the king set out for the neighboring kingdom. He met with the neighboring king, exchanging pleasantries and discussing matters of mutual interest. As the meeting drew on, the king remembered his advisor's words and decided to ask his question. "I'm sorry to be forward," he began, "but I have a question that's been on my mind. If you had the chance to be as strong as you are right now for the rest of your life, would you choose to be the strongest man in the world?" The neighboring king looked at him in surprise. After a moment of silence, he answered, "No, I wouldn't." The king was taken aback. "Why not, my friend? You possess great strength. Surely you would want it to last forever." The neighboring king shook his head. "Strength without wisdom is a burden, my friend. With age comes wisdom, and I would not trade these moments of insight for any amount of physical power. Being strong at every age is a blessing, but growing wiser with time is a greater gift." The king pondered these words as he returned home. That night he shared his experience with his advisor. "Mentor, you were right. I asked the question, but his answer surprised me. He said he wouldn't trade his wisdom for strength." The advisor smiled knowingly. "Ah, the neighboring king understands something many do not," he said. "True strength lies not in never growing old or weak, but in embracing every stage of life with grace and wisdom." The king sat in deep thought, contemplating his advisor's words. Finally, he looked up and asked, "Then what should I do, mentor? How can I become truly strong?" The advisor replied, "You already possess true strength, Your Majesty. It's in your heart, not your muscles. You have led your people with kindness and fairness, showing strength of character and integrity. These are the qualities that have made you a great king. Never forget, Your Majesty, that true strength comes from within. It's not about holding on to youth or power, but about embracing all of life with dignity and grace. Your people see this strength in you. They admire and respect you for who you are, not for how strong you once were. That is your greatest strength as a king." The king considered his advisor's words and realized they held deep truth. He had allowed the fear of aging and the desire to hold on to his past strength to overshadow his present wisdom and well-being. His advisor was right. His people loved him not because he was the strongest, but because he was a good and compassionate leader. From that day on, the king began to view aging differently. He saw it as a natural part of life, a phase to be embraced, not feared. He understood that his worth was not defined by his physical prowess, but by his heart and mind. He continued to rule wisely and compassionately, always remembering that true strength lay in the values he held dear, in his enduring spirit, and in the love and respect of his people. Many years passed, and the king's son took the throne after him, and the king retired to live a quiet life. He spent his days sharing stories of his reign with the villagers, his nights reminiscing about his life with his beloved queen. As he grew older, his hair turned silver and his skin wrinkled with age, but his heart remained strong and his spirit unbroken. Whenever he looked out over his kingdom, he saw not weakness, but wisdom etched on the faces of his people. He saw strength in their resilience and courage. He realized that true strength did not lie in never growing old or weak, but in growing wise and compassionate with time. One day, as the king sat by the window watching the sunset over his kingdom, his son joined him. "Father," the young king said, "I wanted to ask you something." "Yes, my son," the retired king replied, turning to him with a smile. "You have always been a strong and valiant ruler, yet sometimes I see a hint of sadness in your eyes. Is there anything troubling you?" The young king hesitated, then asked, I often wonder if I'll be as good a ruler as you were. I see the respect and love the people have for you. How can I hope to earn such admiration?" The retired king placed a hand on his son's shoulder and said, "My son, you already possess the qualities of a great ruler. You are kind, just, and brave. But I understand your concern. Ruling a kingdom can be daunting. There are challenges and worries that come with the crown." "Then how did you manage, father?" the young king asked. "How did you bear the weight of the kingdom and still remain so strong and joyful?" The retired king looked out at the kingdom once more. Then he turned to his son with a serene smile. "It's simple, my son. True strength does not come from never growing old or weak. It comes from embracing every challenge with a kind heart and a clear mind. As you grow older, you will gain wisdom and perspective. You will learn that true strength is not about holding on to youth or power, but about growing with dignity and grace. The people may look to you for protection, but remember, they also admire your wisdom and compassion. Lean on your strengths, not your fears. Lead with love and wisdom, and you will find your strength." The young king considered his father's words. He realized that true strength did not lie in physical prowess, but in the unwavering support and respect of his people. As he looked out over his kingdom, he saw not just subjects, but friends and neighbors whose lives he had the privilege to touch. He knew that, as long as he served his people with a pure heart and a determined spirit, he would find the strength he needed to carry his crown with honor. The retired king watched his son with pride. He saw the same spark of determination that had driven him all those years ago, the same desire to do what was right and protect those in need. The retired king knew that his son would face challenges, but he also knew that he would emerge stronger and wiser from each one. The kingdom was in good hands, and the retired king's heart swelled with gratitude for his son and the future that lay ahead. Friends, the story of the two kings carries a timeless message. True strength doesn't come from never growing old or weak. It comes from embracing every stage of life with wisdom, grace, and a kind heart. Aging is a natural process that brings with it a wealth of experiences and wisdom. It's not something to be feared, but respected and cherished. So let us all strive to be strong, not in our muscles, but in our spirits. Let us grow old with dignity, wisdom, and love. And if you're enjoying these tales, don't forget to subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments. Together we can keep these stories alive and pass them on to future generations.